Do you like that? My
Yeah,
hilarious
no
style.
Yeah.
Alastair, introduce yourself to a few thousand people, please.
Good morning, my name is Alastair Boot. I'm a Harper Adams agriculture graduate, but returned as a lecturer and now heavily involved in industrial placements for students at the university.
And James and I were just talking off camera. One of the USPs, the unique selling point of Harper, is the industrial placement periods. Am I correct?
I think you are, and I think it goes right back to our heritage originally as an agricultural college, but actually we've applied it to all our courses and kept a real focus on placements. Other universities are including it, but they're very frequently making it optional. It's always been a compulsory part of our undergraduate
It's just the
courses.
making of the graduates. I can speak from experience ex-Harper that with my placement, it was the absolute making with me sandwich between the two elements of Harper, and I could see that with all my my colleagues and peers who did the same thing. It is I can't endorse that enough. It's the absolute making of it.
Do you know, it's got absolutely universal support, real commitment long term from senior leaders and staff at the university. We've got employers coming to us all the time asking for our students, because the students bring youth and vitality, new ideas. The employers also tell us over and over again that it is fantastic for them to be able to give back, to be able to support the development of the next generation coming into their sector. And the reason why students tell us over and over again about the value of it is because it helps them get the best new job when they graduate, and also to be a step ahead of others in their graduate career. So all, whether it's staff, students and employers, all are big fans of the placement.
Me with my recruitment hat on, I've seen it so many times that when you look at the CV or when I've been chairing meetings and then the potential employer says, "Oh, Harper Adams, and you did your placement year at X, Y, Z. Oh, tell us about that placement year." And that placement year is becoming more and more important because there's such a shortage of talent out there. There's so many employers who are now adopting this phraseology of grow your own. So if they can get a really good one or perhaps a number of placement students from Harper Adams, they could see how good they are in that year. I'm then saying to them, well, why don't you look to sponsor them for the, so I might be segueing over here, but why don't you sponsor that individual on the thesis, on your business, because you're going to get this fantastic report. And then I'm then seeing that those companies are then offering those individuals to come and work for them because they've been so impressed with them to grow your own.
And actually, there are no guarantees, of course, but it does happen very frequently, not only in terms of turning a placement employee into a graduate in the business, but as you say, it also provides links into the university. The student themselves should bring the latest learning from their generally first 2 years of university, but then it can link into, as you say, other elements of research and access to university knowledge.
And I've got two examples of my age group that one did a placement year at a grain company. He's now the chairman of that grain company. Another individual did his placement year within a rice business. He's now running a rice business in Delhi. Just you can't make it up. But are we being parochial because we're in lovely Newport, Shropshire? Are we just looking for placement students of, I don't know, 25-mile radius of Newport, or are we looking further afield, Alastair?
Let me just build on your earlier comment first. That successor plan is that, and watching people grow in their businesses and their graduate career, of course, it then feeds back into more employers. But it's absolutely the pleasure I take from being involved with placements. You asked about 25 miles within Newport, leading question, Max, but no, of course not. We've got lots of UK employers seeking our placement students. However, we're a global university and we want that to be reflected even more in terms of our placement employment. So we're particularly looking now for more international placement employers.
Well said, and I'm lucky enough to be well travelled to the likes of America and Africa, and I know so many agriculture and fresh produce businesses that would absolutely love to have some British expertise in the form of Harper students coming. So if anyone's watching on an international basis and you don't quite understand how this all works, the placement period works, and how it could be a benefit to you, come and have a conversation with Alastair and his colleagues, because it will just make your business further sing to have that intellectual horsepower coming in for Harper Adams.
Absolutely. The employers, if they're interested, should understand a few things about placement. It's really important to us that visas allowing their year-long placements, they're paid, that even if the students are international placed, that the health and safety and insurance should be the equivalent of UK standards, but all of that can be discussed.
Yeah.
It's also really important for employers to understand that this year is part of the undergraduate learning for a student.
Yeah.
So giving the student of good stretching learning opportunities, giving them lots of constructive feedback, and working with the university because it's part of the degree will be important. But I should say one of the key differences about a year-long placement compared to a shorter internship is that the employee, the student, will also deliver value back to the business.
Yep. Parents. I went to an event this weekend where there was a parent who's got 2 boys at Harper, and they're having a great time and absolutely flying. There was another parent with a daughter who's just of the age, who's looking at a couple of universities and is contemplating Harper. I was explaining that I was going to meet you and we were going to be talking about placements, and he didn't know what a placement was. And he said, "How's that going to be a benefit to me?" So we've understood it for the employer. For a parent, come on, because those parents are very, they're a big steer for those. For those kids, they want to see how is that going to be a benefit for that individual, that student coming here on a parent perspective, please.
And I'm a parent of 2 undergraduates as well, and so really appreciate the feelings about how is that young person going to enter industry. Now, we must be fair. We mustn't compare 3 years at another university with 4 years at Harper. We've got to compare 4 years against 4 years.
Yep.
But what the placement year will provide our undergraduates is support.
Yep.
We've got employers queuing up to employ them.
Yep.
We've got staff who are employed to prepare them for their applications, for their placement year, to support them during their placement year, and also to make sure as best we can that they learn lots from their placement year.
Yep.
Compare that with an undergraduate being released from university after 3 years. You're on your own. You've got to do it yourself. So I think the 4 years against 4 years, there is a lot of value for a supported placement as part of your undergraduate degree.
There you go. You've heard it there, Mr. Parent from Bury St Edmunds. So, Alastair, you're an ex-student. You're a lecturer here. You've got kids here. Sum up Harper Adams University in a sentence.
The kids aren't here, unfortunately. Much as they didn't want to be
right,
where I am. For me, Harper Adams has changed so much. It's developed into lots of different course areas, but something has remained the same, which is the culture of support and learning. And there is a reason why employers want our students, when they graduate, partly the placement and partly the attitude that they bring to university and that they develop at Harper Adams.
Yeah, I just remember my old course lecturer, he said to me, I hope there's no students watching this, he said to me on the last day when I graduated, he said, coming here was 90% learning about life and 10% work. And the combination of Harper and my placement made me into what I am today. But that's why we're really keen to...
We can't get it right all the time.
But that's why Harper is just such a shining beacon within agriculture, horticulture, fresh produce, livestock within the UK and internationally. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct, and we look forward to working with fresh produce employers from around the world.
Excellent. Can I come back and do my course again?
In fact, I heard that you had to.
Thank you, Alastair.